In the cold black of space, the Galactic Union's fleet moved toward Earth. 200 ships. Clean, sharp, deadly. Their hulls were polished like mirrors, reflecting the stars as they approached the small blue planet. Admiral Vorex stood on the bridge of the Union flagship Calvater. He was tall, with silver skin and dark eyes that showed no emotion. Behind him, his officers worked silently, their hands moving over glowing control panels. A large hologram floated in the center of the room, an image of Earth. A primitive world, Vorex said, his voice flat but certain. No interstellar fleet, no orbital weapons, no advanced defenses. This mission will be ... efficient. The officers nodded. The Union had conquered hundreds of planets. Before, some had armies, shields, even black hole cannons. Earth had ... nothing. Just a few satellites and a global radio system that barely reached its own moon. Commander Teth leaned forward, zooming into the planet's surface. Population over 8 billion, divided nations, no planetary unity. We'll be fast. Vorex gave a slight nod. We do not destroy, we disable. All major military centers first, then communication. Finally, the governments. Clean and quiet. No need for firestorms. Outside the window, Earth rotated slowly. Blue oceans, white clouds. Cities lit up the dark side like constellations. It looked peaceful, harmless. Launch. First wave, Vorex ordered. 30 attack ships peeled away from the fleet. They moved like sharks in formation, entering Earth's upper atmosphere with ease. There were no defenses to stop them, no resistance. Not even a signal. Something about that silence bothered Vorex, but he said nothing. The lead strike ship, Talon 1, began scanning a target zone over a large country. The AI reported no threats, no hidden weapons, just civilians. The ship slowed and hovered. Ground sensors showed small human vehicles fleeing, but no military action. Then, something odd. The ship's sensors blinked once, a flicker, then twice. Interference detected, said the AI, voice calm. A moment later, the connection cut. Back on the Calvater, red lights flashed. Vorex turned. We've lost contact with Talon 1. Technical error? Someone asked. Unlikely, Vorex said. Send 2 ships to investigate now. 2 more ships, Talon 2 and Talon 3. Descended into the same airspace. For a few seconds, everything was fine. Then the same flicker, the same interference, and then nothing. No signal. No audio. No visuals. All gone. The bridge fell silent. This isn't possible, Teth whispered. Vorex narrowed his eyes. What do you mean? There's no weapon on Earth that can block. Union comes. Not even scramble it like this. It's like something's eating the signal. More red lights lit up. Talon 2-4. Gone. Talon 5. Gone. Vorex stepped forward, pulled back. All units return to high orbit. Do not enter atmosphere until we understand, sir, an officer interrupted, pale. Something's happening. With the planet. The hologram zoomed in again. Strange energy readings pulsed from multiple points across Earth's surface. Not natural. Not weather. Not nuclear. Something else. One of the officers trembled. That energy signature. ... It's old. How old? Vorex asked. The officer stared. Older than our records. Older than the Union itself. Adix suddenly screamed through the bridge speakers. Everyone flinched. The signal was coming from one of the missing ships. Talon 3. Then a voice broke through. It was shaky, terrified. This is Commander Jurek. ... They're not human. They're not what we thought. Screams followed. Metal tearing. Something roaring. Then silence. No explosion. No wreckage. ... Just gone. The bridge froze. We need to leave, Teth said quietly. We were wrong. We're wrong. Vorex clenched. His jaw, he wasn't used to fear. Didn't like it. Send the remaining scout drones, he said. I want to know what's down there. Dozens of small, fast drones launched. They entered the atmosphere and scattered, each with a different target zone. Mountains, cities, oceans, forests. At first, they worked. They sent images. Crowds of humans running, cities going dark, military bases abandoned. Then one drone picked up something strange. Dark shape moving across a desert. It wasn't flying. It was floating. Smooth, silent. Zoomed in, it had no wings. No engines. But it moved faster than sound. The drone tried to follow it. The last frame it sent was an image of the shape turning toward the camera. Then the feed ended. Vorik said nothing for a long time. This is not a war, he finally said. It is. A trap. Behind him, Teth spoke again, voice cold. What if Earth isn't primitive? What if they've just been hiding? The words hung heavy in the air. Suddenly another signal came through. A message from the spear point, one of their destroyers. The voice was robotic. Not the usual officer. This is Unit 7. Captain is gone. Crew is gone. All doors locked. I am alone. Something is inside. ... The message cut. The bridge's lights dimmed. The ship itself trembled for half a second like something brushed past it. All the officers froze. Weapons were drawn, but nothing came. Vorex walked to the center of the room. The image of Earth still spun quietly before him. Blue. Bright. Silent. He realized something then. Something horrible. It wasn't that Earth had no defenses. It was the defense. Everything on that planet was a trap. It's a mask. And they had stepped into it. Teth, he said. Send the recall signal, all ships. We leave now. Teth tapped the console. Signal sent. But ... But what? No one is answering. An hour passed. Then 2. Then 4. One by one, every ship below went. Silent. No battles. No distress calls. Just ... Nothing. When the Calvator tried to scan the surface, its systems glitched. The planet's clouds seemed ... wrong. Moving in patterns, in shapes. The AI refused to process some of the images. It froze and restarted. Itself 3 times. On the 6th attempt, it simply said, ERROR, observation not allowed. Vorex had seen enough. Set course away from Earth. Full burn. We're leaving. The engines didn't respond. Not broken, just ... locked. The crew stared at the controls, helpless, and then came the final message. A transmission from deep inside the ship. Not from a console, not from a crew member, from the ship itself. Words appeared on every screen. You came to conquer. You will not return. And in the center of the bridge, the hologram of Earth changed. It wasn't the same planet. It was darker. The clouds were gone. The oceans were black. And something inside the planet's core was pulsing, watching alive. One officer collapsed, muttering nonsense. Another fired his blaster at the floor. Vorik stood still, breath shallow, heart silent. Outside. The stars faded, not because of distance, but because something large, something far beyond. Understanding was moving between them, and the Calvator was now completely alone, just above Earth, waiting for whatever came next. The Galactic Union could not believe what had happened. 200 ships were sent to Earth. None returned. Only 15 ships were found drifting in space, not far from Earth's orbit. They floated like ghost vessels. No engines, no lights, no signals. From the outside, the ships looked perfect. No damage, no signs of attack. Their hulls were clean, untouched by weapons or debris. But inside, they were empty. No crew, no bodies, nothing not. A single sign of struggle. No broken doors, no burn marks. It's just silence. The Union was afraid. They had never lost a fleet like this. Admiral Corvin, the head of the Union's Strategic Command, watched the reports in silence. His staff stood behind him, nervous and quiet. They had no answers. What about the black boxes? Corvin asked. We have 3, a tech officer replied, from 3 different ships. We're decoding them now, Corvin nodded. Play. The first one. A screen lit up. The recording began. It was from the Spear Point, one of the destroyers. The camera showed the bridge. Officers@work.com, normal. Then something strange happened. The lights flickered. One of the officers looked up, confused. He tapped his console, then stood. Commander, he said, I'm getting movement inside the ship. There's no boarding signal, the commander replied. No impact. No breach, I know, the officer said. But the movement is coming from Deck 3. In the crew quarters, the video showed the commander nod and send a squad to investigate. The footage changed. 4 soldiers walked down a hallway. Their armor was heavy. Their weapons charged. The hallway was clean and quiet. Too quiet. Then one of the lights above them went out. The soldier looked up. Did that bulb just? A sudden noise. A soft whispering sound. Not human. The camera shook. One of the soldiers screamed and fired his weapon. Bright light filled the hallway. When the smoke cleared, the soldier was alone. The others were gone. He turned slowly, and the video ended. Corvin's jaw tightened. Next file, said. This one came from the Talon 5. The video was short. It showed a group of officers in the engine room. They were confused. One of the engine cores had stopped. No reason, no warning. They tried to restart it. Then something moved behind them. The camera caught only a blur, a tall, thin figure. A Union, not human. It didn't attack. It just hatched and then disappeared. The crew went silent. One of them whispered, We're not alone. We were never alone here. The screen went black again. Corvin turned to his team. Could this be a weapon? Cloaked life forms? Mind control? Scientist in the back shook his head. This isn't technology, Admiral. At least, not any we understand. Something ancient is on Earth. Something we were never meant to find. ... Room fell silent. Another officer spoke. What do we tell the Council? Corvin stared at the black screen. Tell them the truth. For once, on a moon base near Union Core Space, the Grand Council met in secret. All 11 races of the Union were present. Their faces were tense. Corvin stood in the center, giving his report. This was not a failed invasion. It was something else. Something wrong. He showed the black box footage. The Council watched in horror. This is not a war, one of the counselors said. This is a disappearance. Another counselor, a gray-skinned elder, leaned forward. Do we know what did this? No, Corvin said. But we recovered fragments of the last signal from the Calvator, our flagship. Played the final words. You came to conquer. You will not return. Then a strange pulse. Not sound. Not code. But something deeper. One of the alien scientists jumped up. That signal is alive. It's not from a machine. What does it say? Counselor asked. The scientist hesitated. I think. It wasn't meant for us. It was meant for something else, like it was unlocking a door. A shiver moved through the chamber. Then Earth is no longer a target, the elder said. We must avoid it. But others disagreed. One counselor pounded the table. No, we are the Galactic Union. We do not fear primitives. We need to strike back. Burn that world. End the threat. Corvin stared at him coldly. With what fleet? He asked. The last one vanished without a fight. You want to send more lives into the dark? The council argued. Voices rose. Plans were suggested. Most ended in panic outside the chamber. An assistant watched the Earth footage again. She was young, curious. She zoomed in on a still frame from one of the recordings. A strange object, half buried in the sand. It looked like a tower, made of black metal, old, covered in symbols. She enhanced the image. The symbols changed at first. They looked like runes. Then they turned into letters. Letters in her own language. She blinked. The screen now read, "Stop watching." And then her terminal shut off on its own. She didn't tell anyone far across the galaxy. 3 more ships returned, empty. Their black boxes showed nothing. No data, no recordings, only. A message burned into the memory cores. Over and over again, it is awake. It remembers you should not have come. The Union was now afraid, truly afraid, and Earth still said nothing, no message, no threats, no demands, only silence and drifting. Ships that no one wanted to recover anymore. The Council finally decided Earth was no longer classified as a primitive world. It was now listed as Level X, unknown threat. No contact, no approach. But it was too late, because something from Earth was already leaving the planet. A single human ship, hidden for centuries under the sea, had launched into space. It carried no name, no signals, no weapons on display. But every sensor in the galaxy felt it move, and many wondered, was this a warning, or was it just the beginning? The Galactic Union was not used to fear. But now, fear ruled everything. After the failure of the first Earth invasion, many wanted to retreat, to leave the planet alone forever. But others, especially the High Command, refused to accept defeat. They said it was just an error, a failure of planning, a misstep, so they prepared a second fleet. This time, it was different. 500 ships, new AI systems, stronger psychic shields, sensor jammers, anti-cloaking fields, reality stabilizers. It's built only for worst-case threats and elite soldiers, trained for the most dangerous missions in the galaxy. The commander of the Second Fleet was Admiral Kethrin. He had won wars with a single ship. He had crushed rebellions on death worlds. Cold, brilliant, unshakable. He stood at the center of his flagship, the Spear of Order, and stared at the image of Earth on the holodisplay. "I will not lose to ghosts." He said. The fleet left Union space in perfect formation. No music, no ceremony, just silence. When the fleet arrived in Earth's orbit, they did not descend. Not right away. They stayed at high orbit, scanning, waiting. Kethrin was careful. No mistakes. Thousands of probes were launched, tiny machines no larger than fists, each one equipped with cameras, sensors, and signal blockers. The first wave of probes disappeared instantly. No explosion, no signal loss, just gone. The second wave stayed. Longer 30-7 probes returned, and what they brought back was worse than nothing. The images were wrong. Some showed cities that did not exist. Strange towers glowing in deep colors, built in places where deserts once stood. Others showed movement, large shapes, like shadows with no body, walking across oceans and mountains. One probe flew near Earth's south pole. It sent back images of a massive structure buried in the ice, bigger than any Union dreadnought. The ice around it was melting, but there were no heat sources. Kethrin watched in silence. The last image was a close-up of a symbol on the structure's wall. A human symbol, and a Union one. Together merged. Double quotes impossible, Kethrin said. Perhaps. "This isn't a new threat," one of his advisors said quietly. "Perhaps it's an old one." Kethrin ignored the comment. He launched the next phase. 10 landing teams, each one equipped with stealth drop pods, psi scanners, AI drones, and psychic shielding. They landed in different zones: forests, cities, deserts, underwater ruins, ancient temples. The first reports came back fast. Clear skies, no resistance, only silence. But then, reports changed. The team in the forest saw children watching them from the trees. The problem? The thermal scans showed no life forms. The team in the ruined city found ancient human tech, older than anything Earth was supposed to have. One soldier picked up a small black cube. He began to speak in a human language he had never studied. He dropped the cube and screamed. Then his body twisted, bones cracking. Eyes turning black, he turned on his own team, before vanishing into dust. Only one drone recorded it. The image was shown too. Ketsaron. He said nothing, but his hands curled into fists. At the same time, deep below the Pacific Ocean, something woke. Up, a dark shape rose slowly from the ocean floor, 10 kilometers. Long it didn't look like a ship, it looked alive. But it was metal, ancient metal, covered in runes. The second, fleet scanned at nothing, came back. One brave captain moved his cruiser. Closer, he sent a message. No movement. Scanning now? Then dashed darkness. No explosion, no sound. The cruiser was gone. Not even a trace on the scanners, just static. Catherine was forced to act. He ordered all teams to return to orbit, but half the teams did not respond. Some had gone silent. Others sent back strange messages. One officer said, "The ground is moving. It's not dirt, it's breathing." Another whispered, "I saw myself, but it wasn't me." And one soldier, just before signal loss, said, "It's not Earth, it's a cage." Back in orbit, Catherine prepared to leave. He had seen enough. But before he could give the order, a massive energy spike hit the fleet. It came from the moon. From its dark side, Union sensors showed a structure hidden, deep inside the moon's crust. Something woke up, eh? Weapon or something worse. Every Union ship felt it. Engines stalled. Weapons failed. AI systems froze. A voice echoed through all ships inside. "Mine's not through. Comes." A voice that was not mechanical. Not human. Something older. "You were warned. You are not ready. Leave now or be erased." Some officers collapsed. Others began crying without reason. One ship self-destructed, the rest turned and fled, but not all escaped. As they jumped into FTL, a shadow passed through the fleet. 7 ships vanished from space without a trace, and Earth remained silent. Back at Union Command, the Council screamed for answers. Catherine returned with only 60% of his fleet. He had lost more ships than any war. In Union history, the Council demanded punishment. Justice. But Catherine said only one thing. "You invaded the wrong planet." Then he handed over the final message caught by a damaged drone. A human figure had appeared on Earth's surface, wearing black armor. No face, no weapons, just standing, looking up, and the energy around him, which was not natural. The Union tried to scan him. The scan came back with one word: classified. And so the Union waited. It watched Earth from far away. No one dared go closer, but Earth didn't stay silent forever. One day, something left Earth, not a fleet, not an army, just one ship. Old, rusted, black as space. It didn't broadcast, it didn't blink, it just moved across. The stars heading toward Union space, and behind it, stars seemed to follow. The ship that left Earth was not fast. It moved slowly, passing through solar systems like a ghost. No signal, no ID, no crew, at least. No one could confirm if it had one. The Galactic Union tracked it from a distance. But the longer they watched, the stranger it became. One Union scout ship tried to get close. It didn't return. The others who scanned it reported something impossible. The ship wasn't just old. It was ancient. Older than any recorded civilization. It's older than the Union itself. And worse parts of the ship matched Union design. But that was not possible. The Union was only 6,000 years old. The ship was at least 50,000 years old. That's when the question started. Had humans existed before? Before the Union? Before the galaxy was civilized? No one wanted to believe it. But someone already knew the truth. On a hidden Union moon base, deep underground, a vault was opened. Only for people had access to it. Inside were records sealed for 10,000 years. Inside was Earth's real history. And it was not what anyone expected. Long ago, long before the Union was born, there had been a war, not between alien races, but among humans, billions of them. Spread across thousands of worlds, they had created machines that could tear stars apart, They had built cities inside black holes. They had made weapons that could rewrite time for one target, but they lost control. Some of the machines they had built turned. On them, others became gods. Civilizations vanished in seconds. Entire solar systems burned, so the surviving humans did something no one had ever done. They ended themselves. Not with war, but with memory. They erased their history. They shut down their machines. They buried their weapons, and they hid on one planet, Earth. The idea was simple. The humans believed that if they pretended to be weak, if they let time forget, then they would be safe. No records, no signals, no contact. Earth became silent. The humans on the planet were born into a fake history. They thought they were just starting out. They believed their technology was new, but deep underground. But their real past slept, and now it was waking up in Union command. Panic was growing. The black ship was heading toward the borders of the Ultron Empire, one of the most powerful races in the Union. They tried to stop it. 3 fleets were sent. They surrounded the ship. They warned it to turn back. The ship didn't respond. It didn't even slow down. The Ultron Admiral gave the order. Fire everything. Missiles, lasers, EMP. Fields, but nothing touched it. Every weapon stopped mid-space. Some even turned around and hit the firing ships. 7 vessels exploded. The rest ran. The black ship moved on, back on Earth. Strange things were happening. Satellite footage showed ancient structures rising from the oceans. Black towers, covered in strange symbols, now stood on every continent. People on Earth didn't panic. They didn't even notice. It was as if something was making them ignore it. Some humans, however, did see, and they remembered. Old memories came back. Not from childhood, it's from lifetimes ago. Some screamed and collapsed. Others wrote strange symbols on walls and floors, and a few smiled, as if they had been waiting in a deep cavern under the Andes Mountains. A massive machine woke up. It was not a weapon, it was a key. A voice spoke from ITCOM, motionless. Echo-class units now reactivating. Subterranean vaults breached. Global defense protocol initiated. Humanity's mask ... is removed. Union satellites picked up a strange signal from Earth. Not a distress call, not a threat, just one word. Remember. The council held an emergency session. Half the members wanted to make peace. The other half wanted to destroy Earth immediately, but no one could agree on how. The weapons that once targeted Earth now refused to lock on. AI systems refused to obey. Some eyes even shut themselves down when ordered to analyze Earth data. We are not authorized, they said. It was as if Earth had built rules into the fabric of their machines, rules that still worked across space and time. That terrified everyone, because it meant Earth had not just hidden, it had planned for this. Back in deep Union archives, one researcher made a discovery, a very old file, lost in a forgotten system. It had no name, just a symbol, a human eye. Closed when she opened it. Played a short message. A human voice spoke. If this message is playing, it means we failed to remain forgotten. That means you found us. You woke us up. And now, the seals are breaking. We cannot undo what is coming. The screen flashed, and the file deleted itself, in orbit above Earth. Hidden satellites began moving. They weren't Union-made. They weren't human-made either. They were from a time before. They had watched for 50,000 years. Now, their job was over. Each. One sent a final signal. Not into space, but into Earth itself, and something below the surface answered. Admiral Kethrin was recalled to the High Council. He stood before them, tired but calm. What did we wake up? They asked him. He stared at them. You didn't wake up a planet, he said. You woke up a prison. The room went quiet. Kethrin continued. Earth was not just hiding, was keeping something locked away. And when we attacked, we broke. The lock, what's inside? The counselor whispered. I don't know, Catherine said, but I think we're about to find out. Above, a distant planet, far from Earth. The black ship finally stopped. It sent one signal. It wasn't words. It was a memory. The planet's population, all of them, saw the same vision. A war, humans fighting machines, stars breaking, voices screaming, a warning, do not follow, do not touch, let it sleep. And then the ship moved again, not toward another star, but toward the center of the galaxy, toward the heart of the Union and Earth. Earth was still quiet, but its skies were changing. The clouds spun slower, the moon glowed brighter, and something deep was moving beneath its soil. Not machines, not armies, but the last line of defense humanity had left. The Echo class, built not to fight wars, built to end them. The Galactic Union had made a mistake. They thought Earth was weak. It's easy to control, but Earth was never weak. It was sleeping now. Something ancient had woken up, and it was already moving across the stars, not with a fleet, not with armies, but with Shadow's Echo-class units. Once, they had been called Guardians. Then they became monsters. Now they were just whispers in the dark. And they were returning. At the edge of Union territory, outposts began to go silent. Not destroyed, not attacked, just silent. Union ships sent to investigate found strange things. Empty stations, with meals still warm, ships drifting with no crew. Aboard control panels melted from the inside, weapons, locked eyes missing, no signs of battle, just absence, and in every location. They found one thing, a symbol, a circle with 3 black lines crossing through it. No one knew what it meant, until someone checked Earth's oldest ruins. The same symbol had been carved into stone, 50,000 years ago. It was the mark of the Echo class. The Union tried to respond. They locked down borders. They deployed fleets. They even activated their emergency war protocols. But nothing helped. Echo class units didn't come as armies. They came as individuals. One at a time, silent, deadly, unstoppable. A single Echo class soldier could walk into a secure base, disable every weapon, erase every AI, and walk out without firing a shot. One Echo was seen standing in the center of a starport. Dozens of Union soldiers surrounded him. They ordered him to surrender. He looked up. Then he whispered a phrase no translator could understand. And every soldier fell unconscious. No injuries, no pain, just silence. They never woke up. On the planet Vecros, the Union's top cyber labs began studying one of the Echo-class symbols. They tried to recreate it. A scientist, against orders, connected it to the main system. In seconds, the lab's entire AI network crashed. The screen displayed a message. In Earth's old language it said, "Do not copy what you do not understand." Then the facility's power failed. Everyone inside vanished. When Union teams arrived, the building was empty. No damage. No signs of escape. Just one last note etched into the wall. Echoes do not forget. In the council chambers, panic was turning into desperation. "We must attack," one leader shouted. "Earth must be destroyed." "Then do it," another replied, voice shaking. "If you can." They tried. The Union launched a super weapon, a suncracker, a missile dot. It could shatter a star if needed. It was aimed at Earth's moon, just a warning. But before it even left the launch platform, it vanished, not exploded, not shot down, just gone. Sensors showed that time around the missile had frozen. A recorded voice played across the system. "Do not raise your hand, you were warned." The launcher melted into dust. The operator's memory was erased. He forgot he had ever fired it in a hidden station above Earth. Something even worse was unfolding. The Council had built it in secret, a final plan. If Earth became too dangerous, the station would send a virus into the planet's core, turning Earth to molten glass. But someone was already inside, a single figure. Dressed in black, no, it's weapons, just presence. He moved through security fields without slowing down. Every camera caught him, but AI couldn't track him. He reached the core. Control panel. He placed his hand on it. The station shut down. Every system, every light. Then a single line appeared on all screens. The Echo class does not fight for Earth. It fights for balance. And then the figure was gone. Catherine, now retired, watched it all unfold from a cold moon base. He had lost everything: his fleet, his rank, his honor. But deep down, he knew he had seen something others hadn't. Earth wasn't attacking. Earth was responding, in the Echo class. They were only the first. Across the stars, messages began to appear. Short, no source. Same words. You opened the door. We are what stepped through. On a distant mining colony, children began drawing the same symbol. No one taught them. They just knew some whispered things in their sleep. Old languages, forgotten names, and one word kept returning, over and over. Home. Then came the final warning. On a world near the galactic core, an entire Union fleet disappeared. The last message from their commander said, "There's something in the void. It's not a ship. It's not a creature. It's sound." And then, nothing, black silence, until a single sound echoed through Union. Space, not a voice, not a weapon, but a heartbeat. One steady beat. Deep, ancient, powerful. It came from Earth. No systems could stop it, and it reached every corner of the galaxy. Every creature heard it in their bones. Every AI shut down for 6 seconds. Every world went dark. The Union was silent, and the Echo class moved forward. They didn't destroy. They didn't conquer. They just made the galaxy stop to listen, to remember, to understand, because long ago, Earth tried to save the galaxy from itself. No one listened. So now the Echo class would make sure they did. No ships returned from the final attack. No message, no sound. Only the cold silence of space. The Galactic Union had sent their strongest admirals. Hunters wore machines into Earth's system to finish what they started. But Earth didn't respond. With weapons, it responded with something older, something buried, something everyone had forgotten. Until now, the Union called it Project Gravewalker. It was Earth's final defense. A weapon. No, a memory. A being made not of metal, not of flesh, but of time. The Gravewalker did not fight enemies. It erased them from memory, from history, from existence. It walked through timelines, bending the past, reshaping the present, and now it had been released by accident. No, by choice. The Gravewalker didn't appear in space. It appeared in minds. Union commanders forgot their names. Generals forgot their missions. Entire fleets forgot why they had come to Earth. And then, one by one, they disappeared. The stars where they had been dash unchanged. No wreckage, no trace, just forgotten records vanished, systems reset. It was as if the Union had never invaded Earth at all. On a distant Union archive world. A historian looked up from her tablet. Her files were empty, every mention of Earth gone, even in backup systems. She searched harder. Nothing, then. Her screen blinked once. A message appeared. Graves are meant to stay closed. She backed away in fear and from the hallway. She heard footsteps slow, measured, echoing. Someone had arrived, but no doors had opened. On Earth, silence reigned. The planet was still peaceful. Its people went on with their lives. No weapons fired. No sirens. They didn't celebrate. They simply endured, because they knew the Union never understood. They thought Earth had hidden monsters in the dark, but Earth was the dark. A grave not for the dead, but for mistakes the galaxy was never meant to repeat. One last Union ship managed to escape Earth's orbit. Its captain, a young Valeri named Kren, tried to send a warning. His transmission was broken, static. Then whispers, his eyes turned wide. "There's something following us," he said. His crew turned pale. It wasn't a ship, it wasn't alive, but it was watching them, studying them. The Gravewalker, they tried to jump to hyperspace. The ship vanished. but not because of speed, because no one remembered it existed even. Its planet of origin had forgotten it was ever built. Back at the Galactic Council, fear turned to madness. The leaders shouted at each other. "There is no Earth. There never was." Yes, there was. I remember it. I think no. Their memories twisted. Some remembered Earth as a friend. Others as a myth. A few as a nightmare. None of them agreed. None of them could prove anything. And that was the Gravewalker's final. Power. Not destruction, not war, but doubt. The galaxy began to reshape. Empires that had ruled for centuries found themselves weak and old. Enemies became allies. Lost civilizations reappeared. Time itself bent, because the Gravewalker was not just removing fleets, it was cleaning the timeline, fixing what was broken, balancing what was abused, and it was nearly finished in the ruins of a forgotten moonbase. The last Echo class stood alone. He looked up at the stars. Silent, he was not angry, not proud, just tired. Earth had not wanted revenge. Earth wanted peace. But the galaxy never listened to whispers, so it had spoken through echoes, and now, through the grave, the stars were quiet again, not out of fear, but respect. One final message was found. Hidden deep in the Council's backup core, it was in an old Earth dialect. The translation was rough, but it read, "You believed Earth was weak. You believed we were gone. But the grave remembers, and now so will you." And across the galaxy, the stars flickered just once, like they were blinking, remembering, because Earth didn't just survive the invasion, it erased it forever.